If you're anything like me, you entered the world of work with two things in mind. One, I wanted a job that's real easy. And two, I wanted that job to pay real well. Pretty simple, right? Problem is, my job outside of YouTube is okay pay and is really stressful. So I kind of made a poor choice. However, there are some jobs out there that pay extremely well, but due to the fact they pay extremely well, you would think that there are a few downsides to it, reasons as to why they pay so well. And it's mainly down to the fact that some of these jobs are such high risk and so stressful that it demands the pay that people get for doing the job. Seems pretty simple, right? One such example of this is if you are working as an air traffic controller. First video of 2022, let's get into it. Hello! Welcome to Brainspill, the laziest show on the internet. My name is Tank, and you might think that if you're an air traffic controller, you spend all day sat watching a screen, looking at planes come in and out. I mean, you wouldn't be wrong if that was the description you were going for, but there's a little bit more to it than that. If the job was really that easy, everybody would do it. And the fact that not many people can do it kind of gives you an inclination that there's a bit more under the hood. Reasoning for which we will be exploring today in this video. An air traffic controller's role is to direct air travel around the airspace of a certain country. Basically, these guys are employed to prevent collisions, control air traffic, and to organise when flights should come into land and embark on their journeys. The place you normally see air traffic controllers are in airports. You know, because that's where a lot of planes and aircraft fly in and out of. That only makes sense, right? Better than having a free-for-all when people come and go as they please. Using a mixture of radar and radio communication with the pilots in the air, they are able to know exactly where every single pilot is, at what altitude they're at, and how far away they are from their destination. So basically, the air traffic controller has access to all of this data. They're able to pull it all together and make sure that nothing disastrous happens in the air. So, the next time you're on a flight and you're too busy watching Mamma Mia, there is somebody who is working relentlessly to make sure that your flight safely lands. The work that goes into this is quite a lot more extensive than you'd first think. Normally sat in large high-up towers that look across an entire airport, they have a sight 360 degrees around the airport to see what's coming and what's going. At all times of the year, 365 days a year, come rain or shine, they were always there. Which to some might sound incredibly hard work, given that you might be working late hours, but that's not what justifies the high salary. Yes, I can think of many jobs where you work strange or particularly long hours, but that's not the part of it which demands such high pay. It's the job itself. Air traffic controllers get paid so well, in fact, that your average air traffic controller in the US's highest paying states averages about $130,000 to $145,000 per year, with a similar salary of £100,000 plus each year if you're an air traffic controller in the UK. The reasons for this is the specialist set of skills that are required to even become an air traffic controller, and just the sheer responsibility that's on your shoulders. So let's tackle those one by one. Right, so I think the place to start with something like this is to look at how you even become an air traffic controller. Competition is so fierce that people will work relentlessly to try and get some of the limited roles that there is available. Say if you go into an industry, I'm thinking IT for example. Yes, it's a high demand job, and there is probably a lot of work for people who are qualified in some area of IT. Dependent on your level of skill, you can probably find a job to use your skills. However, if you train to be an air traffic controller, and you might not be quite up to snuff, then I don't think you'll be getting a job doing that anytime soon. Applications for college places at an ATC college normally receive thousands of applications each year for a somewhat measly 100 or so spaces. You're going to need to be pretty brainy to begin with to even have a chance of getting through the first stages of your training. The reality is there just isn't enough demand for such a job which requires the right kind of person to even handle such a situation. However, if you manage to get in, good job, you're through to step 2. From reports online of people who've attended these colleges, a large proportion of the attendees eventually drop out for one reason or another, which can be up to 50% or more in some cases. This shows that it is clearly not a walk in the park, but I guess people might not realise what's involved in the training, and it might just not be for everybody. Open days, everyone. Try it before you buy it, that's what I say. Except if it's, clothes, because you can't really return those once you've stuck them on. Like I said before, if you've spent so long learning something for a highly specialised role and you don't get through, what can you realistically do with that experience? There's not really any other jobs, that I can think of anyway, where you'll be able to have some form of transferable skills. You've trained to be an air traffic controller, so you would probably go into the job of being an air traffic controller. Maybe if not that, maybe you'll be like a traffic signaller, like a lollipop lady who stops traffic. Maybe. Guys, honestly, I didn't look into the logistics of this, okay? After graduation, you can then be allocated into the workplace, where you can then begin the formalised training on the job. Training which can take a number of years to pass. This is sort of like a transition from the education part of the job to the training on the field. Grab you by the arm and throw you in the deep end and see if you swim. I mean, with supervision, of course. So, after completing your training and managing to be somewhat competent at being an air traffic controller, your salary will get a hefty pay increase. Basically increasing year upon year at pretty dizzying levels until you get to about 5 years on the job. And yes, once you get through the long, painful and arduous training regime, you are only at the beginning. Yes, you're getting paid pretty well, but you're still a novice. You need to build up your experience and, see what the job has to offer. The reality of the job, however, is that it is hard. There is a lot of responsibility on your shoulders as an air traffic controller. With thousands of people flying through airspaces every day, strict time schedules for flights embarking and arriving from all different directions and altitudes, considering ETAs, weather conditions, safety, there is a lot of room for error to occur. And that error is not just a slap on the wrist or a telling off from your manager. It's also the lives of many people at risk. So, put it this way. If you're an air traffic controller and you're not very good at your job, you're going to realise that pretty quickly. Basically, you're going to need to be a hard worker. You're going to need to concentrate. You need to be calm under pressure. But more importantly than anything, you're going to need to be a good communicator. At the end of the day, communication is key to make sure that everybody knows what's happening. And at the end of the day, that's sort of your job. And these are of course all skills that I don't possess, so you're not going to catch me training to be an air traffic controller anytime soon. I just thought it was pretty interesting to read upon. So, whilst an absolute liability like myself might not be up for the job, maybe someone out there might be. And my god, please don't go ahead and apply for this job on my word. I'm just a guy on the internet. Do your own research, see if you think it fits you, and if it still does, go get 'em. If you liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to be notified as soon as I upload my next video, be sure to hit the bell button. And if you've got any ideas for what topics you'd like me to discuss next, let me know down in the comments below. As always, sources used in the video will be in the description. Now, if I was an air traffic controller, first of all, I probably wouldn't even get that far, but if I ever did, I would basically be sitting there watching YouTube on one screen and maybe glancing back and forth at my other screen every now and again, making sure that two planes aren't going to collide into each other. And at the end of the day, there are much bigger consequences than my boss giving me a slap across the wrist. So I guess I'll stick to my day job and get a slap across the wrist from my manager for watching YouTube videos, because at the end of the day, the only person that's going to be at blame is me. So yeah. I'll see you guys in the next video. Fantastic.